ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
I joined a school. This school was very famous because it was 100 years old. In fact, when I was in my 8th standard, I joined the school, and the school was celebrating its centenary celebrations. The school was very special for me because my uncle had read, my father had read, my uncle's cousin had read, and so on. Long list of people had read there, so they said, "This is the school for you." Now, you know what happens to institutions over 100 years. This school had, the structure was intact, the building was there, but the discipline had deteriorated. In fact, the first day I went to school, I found in the school that there were some people who looked young enough not to be teachers, but old enough not to be in the class. There were 4 people. And as soon as we finished our morning session, these 4 boys called all of us new entrants and said, "We want to talk to you." We thought there must be some seniors inspecting or something. So we went to them and they said, "Look, we want to tell you something very important. Pay attention. You see, across the ground, what do you see?" they said. Now, this school had many specialities. One of it was, across the ground, there were 3 movie theaters. And it was those days when movies didn't come to you in your mobiles. You had to go to a movie theater to see a film. So they said, "You see those 3 theaters? If you want to learn English, go to an English film. If you want to learn Kannada, go to a Kannada film. If you want to learn Hindi, go to a Hindi film. If you go there, you will get Kannada or Hindi or English, whatever. If you sit in the class, what will you get? Except sleep. Nothing you will get. So every day, go and attend there." So we used to give attendance here and attend there. This had become a practice. You know, as was mentioned, I was in the first batch of Bal Vikas. So on Thursdays, white dress, vibhuti and all that. And I would go to the Samiti and sing bhajans. And the Bal Vikas teacher would even tell the others, "You should all become like Ravi." And I used to think, poor fellows, they become like me. But nobody knew this part of my life. So every day, in a week, we used to see 7 films. Because there are 6 working days, but on Saturday we used to go for a morning show and a matinee because one day will get wasted. Education has it should be continuous. So we used to go every day. And my father was very busy. See, after this got cured of cancer, when he went back to the office, he found that they had assumed that he will not return. So they had promoted a lot of people who were junior to him above him. So he had to take orders from them. He was heartbroken. And he was working very hard. So he would go at 7 in the morning, come back at 8 in the night. I was leading this kind of existence. My sisters were also students, so they didn't know about this part. One day it happened that my father came back early. 5 o'clock he came back. And I came thinking that he'll come at 8, I came at 7. And he said, "Why are you late?" I said, "Special class." There was one more classmate with me, and he was aghast. After my father went, he said, "How can you bluff like this?" I said, What do you mean bluff? What I told was the truth. It was a white lie. He said, "How do you justify this?" I said, "Look, in our class, do we have sofas? We don't have. Here we have. Do you have air condition in the classroom? No. Here we have. So it's a special class. That's what I meant." So this fellow said, "Totally incorrigible fellow you are. Nothing will save you." And so life was going on merrily. I thought it would be like this. And I would continue my education like this. Nobody would know. Naturally, my grades were not good. But the school had one beautiful tradition. They would just not send details of your marks to parents. They would only say pass, fail. So suppose you get pass, you can always say you're first rank. Who is going to know? Managing life like this, one day I went to Brindavan with my father. And Swami came out for darshan. When Swami came out for darshan, he looked at my father and said, go inside. So my father was very excited, got up and said, come, we'll go. And I looked at my father because I understood that this was an interview. Somebody had told me, when Swami calls you for an interview, it's a fantastic thing. I said, what is fantastic about it? Interview means they'll ask you questions, you have to answer like that. He said, no, it's not like that. When you go for an interview, Swami won't ask you any question. He will just tell you the answers because he knows everything about you. This was too scary. Suppose he starts giving answers. So I was hesitant to go. And my father was very excited. And he was tugging me. And the moment Swami calls you for an interview, everyone looks up at you. Such a good fortune, lucky fellow, like that. So I went in. And we were standing there. Swami finished darshan and came back. I was the first in the row. There's a straight line in front of the interview room. I was the first in the line. Swami looked at me, patted me on my cheeks, and looked at my father and said, good boy, he said. That day, I tell you, I was in the 17th heaven of bliss. Because if Swami tells you're a good boy, everyone is going to tell you're a good boy. Okay. The second thing was, I said, even Swami does not know. Till now, somewhere lurking in the mind was that worry that suppose he knows, and now he has confirmed he doesn't know. So I was very, very happy. The moment I thought like this, Swami called my father and asked, where are the other members of the Samiti? Swami, they are sitting there. Go and call them, Swami sent my father. Then he called me. Come here. He said, good boy. He said, I smiled. Okay. And then Swami asked, good boy? So what was a question mark? What was a full stop now became a question mark. So I said, I kept quiet. Are you a good boy? He said. I kept quiet. In Bal Vikas, they teach you all the silent sitting and all that. It comes in handy. Such moments, I was thinking, I am not giving any details. There was no RTI and all those days. So Swami asked me, are you a good boy? Where were you yesterday? I said, Swami, yesterday was a Saturday. See, unnecessary information. Yesterday was a Saturday. Swami said, Nak telsu. I know. Where were you yesterday? I kept quiet. Why volunteer unnecessary information? Nen cheppana. Swami said, shall I tell you? I was thinking inside, why not? If you know, why not? And Swami said, you were in Ajanta Theatre. God. You were with your classmates in the last but one row. My first shock was, oh, he knows about Ajanta Theatre. There's a theatre called Ajanta Theatre. He knows that. And second thing, he's telling the exact coordinates where I was sitting. And then Swami says, all three of you were watching Katti Patang. Asha Parekh, Rajesh Khanna. You want any more information? At that moment, through the corner of my eye, I am seeing my father coming. Why would I want any more information? My worry was, he might give some information to my father. That he might really tell him that my life is a Katti Patang. Aimless, rudderless, being buffeted by all kinds of winds going hither and thither without any direction. The moment my father came, saw me, looked at me, smiled, looked at my father and said, "He is a good boy." At that moment, it was not a time for information, it's a time for transformation. That time had come in my life. You know, Swami says, what's the difference between information and transformation? When you go around and ask people, who are you? Who are you? That is information. When you start asking, who am I? Who am I? That is transformation. So Swami told that, and then by that one act of Swami, this is what he did. He tied my heart to his lotus feet and gave me a direction in life so that the same winds lifted me in the sky. So that's what happened to my life. Swami called us for interview after that. That is one interview I don't remember anything about. I kept on asking, can there be somebody like this? Can there be somebody who is omniscient and so loving? He could have told my father, you know, this fellow, do you think he's a good fellow? He goes all the time to films. He could have told him that. And my father's reaction would have been, he would have fallen, Sashtang Pranam, he would have done and said, Swami, you are God. That would have been the reaction. But what did Swami do? He cared more for my honor, my heart, than for my father's worship. So I said, if somebody is so loving and so omniscient, he must be God. And so the rest of my life, I am going to spend only serving him and worshipping him. He is my God. I don't know about other gods who are there in pictures in my house. This God, he is walking amidst us. He is my God. And from that day to this day, he has been the center of my life. And what a beautiful journey it has been. When I look back at the tapestry of my life, I see from that point onwards, there are golden strands which have been interwoven into my life. Everything has become such a beautiful experience. That is why Swami is worshipped in the Ashtotam as Sujnana Marga Darshakaya Namaha. He shows you the right path. In fact, when on the 25th of May 1947, he wrote a letter to his brother. Sesham Rajugaru had written a letter to Swami saying that, Satya, you don't know the world. People are coming and taking you to their places. They are all selfish. Don't get pulled here and there. Don't get fooled. Then Swami wrote a letter which is actually addressed to all those who love me, to all of us. It was actually a blueprint for the avatar. In that Swami says, Akila manavaluku anandamuna gurchi rakshinchu chundute diksha naku. I have taken a diksha. That I will give happiness to the entire world. Not happiness, ananda to the entire world. Akila manavaluku, it is not this family or that community or that nation, but the entire world. Then the second part, in fact, that is what happens, isn't it? The super specialty hospitals are places which rid you of dis-ease. So they give you happiness back into your life. So, Akila manavaluku anandamuna gurchi rakshinchu chundute diksha Sanmargamunu vidi cherenchu varula cheipatti kaapadute vratamu Those who stray away from the right path, I hold them by the hand and bring them to the right path. That is what Swami did. That's what Swami has been doing. In all our lives, that is what Swami has been doing. Somebody asked Swami this, Swami, why do you say, I will hold them by the hand and bring them to the right path? Is it not enough if you simply say, see, this is the right path, go along this path? Swami said, two reasons. One thing is, they are blinded by ignorance. So when you show a blind person a path, what do? You hold him by the hand and lead him. The second thing Swami said, the path to the divine is a very narrow path. He said, the path to hell is an expressway. Okay? 6-lane highway, 8-lane highway. Why? Too much traffic that side. But the path leading to heaven is a very narrow path. So I have to hold by the hand and bring you to the right path. And that is how Swami led me to this path. And he gave that Katti Patang, which was my life, direction by tying it to his lotus feet. That became the turning point in my life. And when you pray to the Lord, Raha Dikavo Bhagwan, he shows you the path. In fact, I didn't even pray, but he showed me the path. And the path, of course, is the path of light, the path which leads you to light, the path which will turn you into light. See, that is the beauty. He turns your life itself into a street lamp. Swami used to say those days, I take street dogs and make them street lamps. Okay, take street dogs and make them street lamps. So that is what Swami has done.
My path, to teach my